And so I sent an SOS to my therapist, who is my savior in many of these cases, and shared what was going on. And her response to me: Jess, you are fraying at the edges. So I took the last 3 months off, and I did that because I was done. I was just stressed to the max, maybe burnt out, on the edge. Who knows? There's no blood test for that. What I want to do today is share with you how I got over it, how I was able to manage my stress through a really amazing healing practice that involves yoga and meditation, mindfulness through journaling, and bonus will be my how scent really got to play a big role in my life. No, I'm just joking. I will not be doing that. Well, because they're just Band-Aids. And so instead, while I fold this basket of laundry, I want to share with you what I think will work and why they're Band-Aids and what actually will address this widespread stress we are feeling in our workplaces and in our lives, and truly what we can do to help ourselves in the meantime. All right, let's get into it. So first, let's rewind a bit and let me give you some context. I've seen a lot of workplaces. I've been consultant, I was in finance, I was like, screw this corporate world, and then went to startup land. Now I'm in venture capital, and everywhere. Every single workplace, I have seen people stressed to the max. And stats support me. I think it's something like 62% of employees feel stressed or burnt out. So for me personally, let me share what was happening. We had 4 trips to the ER. My partner was changing jobs. We had wildfires in our city. We were doing renovations, and I have 2 kids under 5. So that's a thing in and of itself. Needless to say, that pushed me over the edge. And so I was doing what we all think to do. I carved out the time so I could move my body in the morning. I journaled every evening. I connected with friends. I tried to fit in the things that would give me good energy, and I was still coming up flat. And so I sent an SOS to my therapist, who is my savior in many of these cases, and shared what was going on. And her response to me: Jess, you are fraying at the edges. She pointed me to this Holmes Array stress inventory, where you collect points based on what's going on in your life. So you're moving, financial challenges, health troubles, you or someone you love goes to jail. I think that's number 3 on the list. All the things that could be happening in your life. And given everything that was happening in my life, I scored an 80% chance of a stress-induced health event in the next 24 months. Now, I've always been an overachiever, and in this case, I was not pleased to get all of those extra points. And so what I did was cut my working hours. And I went down to 40%, and I basically just did the things that were income generating, the core essentials. And instead, I went paddleboarding, and I napped, and I got the house set up, which was really important for me after the renovations. And of course, it felt amazing. And I came back, and I was like, okay, I'm ready for full time. I felt stressed again after a few days. I was like, why? What is it? Like, why is this not possible to sustain? And that's when I started thinking that, yes, while we can incorporate these amazing practices of caring for ourselves, it's not sustainable. So let me explain to you why all of these great things really actually aren't the solution to the problem. Well, first of all, I haven't met many managers who tell their employees to go paddleboarding. If you have, please mention who they are, because I'd love to talk to them and interview them, seriously. And why there aren't that many things at work that protect our mental health is because most of the rules, and in this case, they're laws and regulations that protect employees' health and safety, relate to our physical safety. So let me explain what I mean here. And we're gonna geek out a little. Come with me, I like geeking out. let's rewind to the Industrial Revolution when a lot of people started working in the same place. And as many of us know, things weren't great. At one point in time, we thought it was okay to send little children through tunnels in coal mines because it totally makes sense, right? Their bodies are small, and so let's send them through pushing the trolley. Well, we know how that turned out, and so we came up with child labor laws. Another example in this area is locking employees inside their workplaces. We're not allowed to do that, and you know why? Because at one point in time in the early 1900s, managers did that, employers did that, there was a big fire, employees couldn't get out, and I think it was about 120 in the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory that jumped to their death or were burned inside of a building because they couldn't get out. So again, came up with laws of, hey, you're not allowed to lock employees into their workplaces. And now fast forward back to where we are today, we've got hundreds of laws and regulations that govern our workplaces and keep us all safe and healthy. The challenge with this is that the majority of them relate to our physical health. And as workplaces have evolved, we are now more than 50% knowledge workers, at least in North America. But here's the reason why I don't believe that telling ourselves that, oh, you know what, you just need to carve out those 20 minutes in the morning, or try this journaling exercise and it'll make you feel way better. The reason why I don't think that stuff is actually the solution is, to me, that's the equivalent of telling a factory worker, you know what, if you do these hand stretches every morning, your fingers are just gonna float and flirt through all the factory work that you do, and you are just gonna feel invincible. And so you can go in and do all of that repetitive tasks and not feel a thing. No, there's rules. You can't make somebody do repetitive tasks so they get workplace injuries, because doing the stretches in the morning doesn't do a damn when you're doing this with your body for 8 hours a day. So telling me to go and carve out that 20 minutes in the morning.
Simply get away from this for a while. Yep. Even if it's just for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, disconnect from your cell phone so you're not constantly on it. And that doesn't just necessarily mean work, but social media as well.
You would be shocked at how just 20 minutes, 30 minutes, first thing in your day, focusing on you is gonna have this spillover effect on every other area of your life.
So telling me to go and carve out that 20 minutes in the morning for tapping meditation, sure, it's gonna help, but it's not gonna be the solution, because I'm just gonna walk right into my day and stress. All right, so point made. We are missing the rules that govern our workplaces that keep us healthy and safe. So what would I do? All right, well, I like to play the game of, if I was ruler of the world, what would I do? Well, I do for a few things. First would be require all managers to check in with their employees on a weekly basis. Check in and see, are they stressed out? How are they feeling? What's causing it? Just ask the question. Second, I would require all managers to have training related to dealing with mental health challenges. Anyone that works in a mine, anyone that works in a factory must receive health and safety training. Why don't we have that in our offices where our health and our safety is impacted through stress and burnout and not fires or hazardous chemicals? Third, I would require it that all employees are able to take a certain amount of time off and come back when they're ready. They should be able to take time off because of stress without any pay implications, and without, more importantly, implications on their promotion, job performance review. Oh, and I have a bonus idea. All of that workplace travel, it should be considered overtime. So either pay more for it or limit the amount that any one employee can travel at any given time. Because being a road warrior actually sucks and is not glamorous. Okay, so we all know I am not ruler of the world. What actually can be done? So interestingly, there are a few things happening around the world that are making slight movements. In France, and then subsequently lots of other countries have followed suit. Employees are able to ignore their emails after a certain hour of the day. Okay, but those changes are going to be slow. A lot of the evolution in our workplace policies have happened because of catastrophes. And thankfully, there aren't hordes of us jumping out of buildings because of stress. It's happening in small, quiet, individual spaces. Here are my 2 suggestions on what we can do personally. So first off, if you are a manager, do the things I just suggested. You don't need to wait for government rules. Check in with your employee. Just do a one-on-one. It's amazing. There are apps for that. I'll make suggestions for that in the details below. Give them the time off. Educate yourself in how to handle mental health. All of these things can be done just on our own volition and because we decide they are important. Second thing, and this is the most important, I feel, and this is something I'm working on with myself, which is be kind to ourselves and recognize that stress is inevitable. The system is set up so that we will feel stressed. There are not the safety valves or protective gear in place right now for us to go a long duration of time without feeling massive stress. I didn't really understand that initially, and I kept on coming back to me and thinking about like, well, why can't I hack it? And what's wrong with me that I can't just carve out those 20 minutes every morning? You know, is it a lack of willpower? Is it a lack of discipline? Is it something intrinsic in me? And no, life's just busy and things pile up and life happens. And we don't have those safety valves or protective gear in place to protect us from stress. Knowing that means I am trying to be a lot kinder to myself as things do pile up and I don't go about blaming myself and I see the situation for what it is. So I hope that gives you some illumination on why I do think yoga is still really important, but not the ultimate solution. Gives you a little boost in staying healthy. Keep well.